Welcome back to Basin Motorsports for another week here in the garage. So this week I haven't done a whole lot working on the car, or either cars really. Work's been busy and just hadn't got there. But tonight, kind of working on a couple small things that I'll share with you before tomorrow is another car show. So one of the things I've been wanting to do is work on the bottoms of the doors. So on the passenger side, you can see right behind me, I've already got it done. And I did this earlier, kind of an experiment. I didn't know exactly how I was going to get it done the way I wanted, but now that it's done, I can definitely show you what you need to do. So if you remember back looking through pictures and that, the people or somebody prior to me had shot a bunch of screws through this bottom panel. And really, it was the original from 80. So a little bit of glue, a couple staples, and the carpet really, just the glue, just, dries out and that. So it started coming apart. So I took these off and I haven't run them. Gosh, I couldn't even tell you how long it's been. It's been a long time since I put these on, or I didn't have them on. So the process to replace this is pretty simple. So once you have this lower piece taking off, mine was really easy. They had shot a bunch of screws in here, so I took the screws out and this kind of just fell off. So once you have that taken off, this surface here needs to be cleaned. So I just used a razor blade, basically one of the flat scrapers, and scraped all the glue off of here. So you can kind of see a little bit of trace here, this kind of squiggly, I don't know if you'll call it loops or whatever, but that was what was originally from Ford. And then in these upper corners, they shot just a very small little metal staple that went through this piece here, this plastic that goes on, and went through the carpet, through that, into the door panel. So really when you take that off, it should be pretty easy. It's probably going to come off. You may have to pry it a little bit. Once you do that, scrape this clean and then clean it off. Glass cleaner, alcohol, anything like that. Something that's going to take off any kind of sticky residue, anything like that. I also used a metal scrub brush just to kind of scrub it to make sure I got all this out. And then just clean it up. Get the surface as clean as possible, and this is going to be ready for the next piece. The piece that comes off. You can see I've already stripped off the carpet from it, and it was just really kind of glued on there, and you can kind of see these holes. That is what was screwed in to the door panel by a previous owner. Once you take off the carpet, you can clean both sides, get it ready to go, and then you're going to use some spray glue to put the new carpet down. Once you have both sides of the plastic insert cleaned, scraped off with just a scraper, cleaned it with some glass cleaner, it is cleaned both sides. If I kind of flip this over, you can see still a little drying, but that is going to be okay for right now. I don't need it to be exactly dry, but you can dry it off, no big deal. What I'm going to spray it with is going to be some Loctite spray adhesive. This is just some heavyweight bonding stuff. This is what I used on headliner. Everything else. And you can also use a 3M Super 77. Either way, this stuff works pretty good. And I've just got it laying on a trash bag, just a shop bag, just so big. And that way that I can spray it and not worry about going everywhere. And once it gets on the trash bag, it's okay. I can use that, let it dry, or I can just throw it away. Next, I put down a really good thick coat of the adhesive on there, and then you can see I've laid the material over this. Now this material is just a black felt. It's the same thing that I covered the parcel shelf with, so that it's going to match, and it's just a little bit wider. You can see I've got roughly about an inch on every side, even down here. You can see if I straighten this out, let's see. You can see how that's cut. That's a parcel shelf that came out of that material. So I've just kept this piece aside, waiting for the day to do this. And so now I'm just going to trim that, so basically follow the shape and give myself roughly about an inch of overlap to fold around to the backside. So there's the cut piece. Now the goal with just making it long enough is that it's going to wrap. So you can see it'll wrap over to the back edge. And you don't have to make it, you want it to be wrappable, I guess, to the edge, so it'll stick, but you don't want it so long that it starts to become a problem. So this is borderline. This is probably a little bit over an inch there, and I may even cut that down just a little bit. But you want it to be able to wrap, and then you'll have to kind of notch these corners down here. to get everything to sit flat when you're doing that. But the goal is just to get it to wrap easily over. Use the same spray glue to hold this here. Just shoot it on the spray. You can see there, it's all on the back. You can just spray it along the edge and then just start folding it over with your fingers until it stays. And you want it to stay and stay nicely wrapped, especially in the corners and that around this front side. Okay, so here's what the front is going to look like. You can kind of see there, good shape, even in the corners. If I show you, nice crisp tuck there, all the way across, very good condition. This is what you want it to be on the outside. Now, if I flip it on the back, you can see this is functional. And I'm not going to say it's beautiful and all that, but I do have a spot in here for how I'm going to adhere this to the door. But you can see in the corners, these are just cut up in there. They're just tucked in there. There's nothing pretty about it. They're completely functional. If I show you all the way across, all the way functional. And again, when this is adhered to the door, this amount tucked to the back is actually going to help keep this in place because it won't be able to untuck itself from the glue and then come out the bottom, which is bad. You don't want this untucking itself because then it looks real tacky and you got to do it again. Okay, so now to attach the panel, the carpeted panel, to the door itself, what I'm using is some 3M acrylic foam tape. Now it's labeled as a gasket or for adhesion, and I'll tell you this stuff is pretty much what the OEMs, at least the big three, use on their body side molding on the exterior. So it's waterproof, sticks very well, and I just happen to have some left over from my OEM days in a kit I had. So Argent's the brand that I had the kit from, but it's 3M pieces. So now these are 6-inch long. There's 6 of them. You can kind of see all the red pieces. That's just the backing. Once I take that off, this will go right on, and then I'll stick it on there. Okay, so with all the backing off, you can see now it's gray, and this stuff is a pressure sensitive adhesive. They call it a PSA. What it means is it's got an initial tack to it, but until you really put a lot of pressure on it, it doesn't really adhere. So once you stick it on the plastic, once you start peeling this up, you might find that if you haven't really kind of smashed it all down there, it may peel the corner. So just use I just use a 90-degree pick, just to kind of pick underneath the piece and pull off the backing, as you call it. But now, time to put this on. And just like that, done. So this is one thing I've been wanting to do with this car. So with this done, I feel pretty good shape. Now you can kind of see it's nice and dirty, so I will get that cleaned up for the car show tomorrow. I'm going to drive it there, then clean it up. Now it's supposed to rain in the afternoon, so who knows. It's supposed to be 10 to 3 tomorrow for the car show, so I'm going to leave here at the garage about 8:30. Get down there 9:15, 9:20. Get the car wiped down, show it, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to finish this up, and we'll pick you up tomorrow at the car show. So good morning. Made it down to the car show. No issues with the car, and I always think I say that, but this car running good is fantastic. So just made it down, got the car wiped down, and now just kind of sitting back and watching. Had one guy say he loved the car, loved the fat tires on it, and otherwise just kind of letting everybody kind of take it in. Of course, the only Fox body here, the only vinyl wrap, of course the only wide body. So there's a guy with a Shelby GT350 running around, but I think he works here at the dealership. I tell you, it is cold. It is maybe low 50s without the wind. It is cloudy. It's probably dark on the film, and yeah, it's definitely not a great day for a car show. It's supposed to rain in a couple hours, so we'll see. It is definitely windy and cold, and really not excited for this car show today. did win an award today. It's not something I would have thought of. But yeah, WideFox was picked for an award, and once I get to the garage, get the car put away and that, I'll show you the award. So stand by, take your guesses. What is it going to be? Is it going to be best muscle car? Could it be best Ford? It was at a Ford dealership. Could it be a judge's pick? You'll just have to wait and see and find out. All right, y'all made it home. No problem. Did you see that wreck? That thing was there this morning. So somebody, I don't know what happened. They spun out, went through the ditch, smashed in there, broke all the windows out of the station wagon. So somebody had a bad day, night, morning, whatever it was, but it wasn't me, thankfully. All right, so the question was, what do you think I was awarded for with the WideFox? The answer is the Rattiest Rat. I never would have expected that. So this is not a rat rod in my opinion, but the Rattiest Rat is A-okay with me. So put this in the record books. Another award for this. WideFox is home. It is wet and muddy to get here, but I'm going to let it dry. I will clean it next week. Maybe a next show next Friday. I'm not sure yet. Haven't decided if I want to go all the way back to town or not. And then Good Guys is in 2 weeks. So totally excited for that. WideFox is going to be in the Indoor Muscle Car Specialty Show. It's kind of like a sub-show of the big show. So it'll be indoors. I don't have to stand in the sun, which is going to be awesome. And I'm going to sleep in my Suburban over at the RV park. Save a couple bucks. It's a whole lot easier than trying to travel with a Suburban and a trailer to a hotel and all that stuff. This way, everything's kind of contained, easy to do, and this will be awesome to do. So that's it. Great show. Door panels look awesome. And now I've just got to let this dry, and I'll give it a thorough cleaning before I go to Good Guys in 2 weeks, and maybe a car show next week. Not sure yet, but any questions on anything, you know how to find me. I'll put some links in the description of the stuff for the door panels if you'd like to look at that, just to kind of see what I've done with the tapes and all that kind of stuff. I'll drop you some links in there to Amazon or wherever I can find them. Otherwise, guys, Rattiest Rat right here. WideFox out. See you next time.